Eartha Kitt was born Eartha Mae Kitt, January 17th, 1927, in South Carolina on a cotton plantation. Her mother was believed to be Cherokee and African descent, and her father may have been the owners of the plantation. Okay, the owner's son was raping Eartha Kitt's mother. Well, at that time, Eartha Kitt thought that was her mother until she went to another plantation up north, which is New York. And then Eartha began to believe that a new lady, a new woman who was taking care of her may have, in fact, been her biological mother. So this young Eartha Kitt did not know who her mother was. Okay. She was a child of rape. Eartha Kitt's mother, okay, she was sent to live with a black man. So her and the black man she was living with had a relationship. And that black man, Eartha Kitt's mother, well, at that time, she thought that was her mother. She was in a relationship with a black male, and he didn't accept Eartha Kitt because she was biracial. She was light. She was light skinned. Okay. And she was mistreated by black people who were darker. They used to beat her, pick on her, and treat her very, very badly. Then she was sent to live with a relative named Aunt Rosa and was the victim of abuse. So everywhere she's been abused. Okay. If she wasn't verbally abused, she was physically abused. After the death of Eartha's mother, Annie Mae, Eartha was sent to live in New York with another relative named Mammy Kitt, who Eartha believes may be, in fact, her biological mother. So she fell back into the laps of her mother. Now, Eartha was a smart woman. She was not dumb. She spoke four different languages. She spoke German, Dutch, English, French. She began her career in 1945 on a Broadway musical. Then in the early 1950s, she had 6 U.S. top 30 hits, including Under the Bridges of Paris, Just an Old Fashioned Girl, Where Is My Man? And she also starred as Catwoman in the third and final season of Batman. And when you hear people talk about her and the Catwoman acting role, they always say, well, she had the best purr. And I don't know. Maybe that's just giving her credit. I don't know why they say that. I don't know if that is a compliment. But what's ironic is that when you fast forward to, I believe it was the 1990s where Halle Berry played Catwoman. Now, I do believe when Eartha went to Paris, that's where she blew up. Why? Because she had hits on the UK charts. She started performing with a white male, a Caucasian male by the name of Orson Welles. He did musicals, he dressed up as a clown, he did shows, and it was to be believed that she was having a affair with him. By the looks of these pictures, I would say she was. You don't behave like this and you're just working with a person. This is more than just working. And then he said she was the most exciting woman in the world. Orson Welles told her that. He said, Eartha Kitt, no, when he was asked about Eartha Kitt, he said, Eartha Kitt is the most exciting woman on earth. And when you read between the lines, we know why. He was doing two things that he loved to do. So he felt like he never worked a day in his life. Okay? He was doing music, and might I add, he was doing music with a biracial American who was attractive. Eartha Kitt was far from ugly. Okay, I will say that. Then she came back to America, well, Broadway. Okay, she came back to Broadway where she did the Timbuktu musical. So this is where it gets interesting because now she's performing in front of a pro-black audience, a African audience, a pro-African audience. And because they see her, she is to be believed one of them. How? Wow, she's dancing for a musical and it's Timbuktu. It's Timbuktu. So this woman named Eartha Kitt, she is pro-black. She's dancing for black people, X, Y, and Z. On the flip side, she was in Paris performing and laying up with Orson Welles, okay? Now she's in America heavy. Now she's doing activism. She's working with At Trouble Youth in Watts, California, and Black in Trouble Youth in Washington, D.C. Okay? So now she's helping black people, black youth, at trouble kids. Salute to that. She's invited to the White House. Mrs. Johnson was there. They was having a luncheon. So she goes off about the Vietnam War, which rightfully so. I don't have a problem with that. They were sending innocent Americans out to die. Okay, that was the French War. It had nothing to do with America. Okay, and she's telling the First Lady, hey, you're sending innocent black children out to fight in a war. So this causes a media firestorm. When she gets back to her hotel, she is hearing about it on the radio. And the FBI and CIA called and demanded they find something on her. Okay? Now, this is where it gets thicker than a Snickers. When you ask Eartha her ethnicity, she would say she is American. She's not black. She's not white. She is American. So later on in this video, I am going to discuss and ask the question, why are black Americans celebrating Eartha Kitt in Black History Month when she did not see herself as a black person? When you look up her ethnicity, it's going to say American. And she said it on tape. It's on camera, okay? Now, she donated to Martin Luther King. When she was doing shows, the money she was making from those shows, she was donating to Dr. Martin Luther King. She did not like the Black Panthers. She said it out of her own mouth. The Black Panthers were for black people, right? So if she didn't like the Black Panthers, obviously she didn't want black people to be together. She wanted you to be integrated. She wanted you to be integrated. Why? Because she donated money to the integrationist, Martin Luther King. Okay, so she was totally against pro-blacks, but pro-blacks claim her. Black women claim her. Now, Eartha Kitt also married a white businessman by the name of John William McDonald, and she had a daughter by him, and the daughter is white. She doesn't look like she has any black in her. And this is a problem, and it shows the hypocrisy in black women. This is hypocrisy at its highest. Now, this pro-black, this woman who is recognized in Black History Month, gives birth to a white daughter. A white daughter. And she was messing around with Harry Belafonte. I do believe, don't quote me, but Sammy Davis Jr. Eartha also worked for the Persian Room. I guess it was a sexual dance or pay to play. However, it was too expensive for black people to go. And it was considered, it was named, it was called the white man's world. It was called the white man's world. And that's why they want Rihanna to play Eartha Kitt, because they have the same story and they do look identical. They do look identical. And again, she was talented. She was an actress, a performer, a singer, and she was successful in all of those areas. She was a chart topper, okay? You can't take that from her. She was asked, Eartha Kitt was asked, why do you think you have a large homosexual crowd? She said, because they know what it feels like to be rejected. She felt rejected, right? She had more in common with the homosexuals than Black Americans. However, you guys still salute her for Black History Month. And then she was asked, why don't you get you a black man? And then she said, well, all the white girls had him. And then she was sleeping with Harry Belafonte. And she said that Harry Belafonte told her that don't take this personal, like we're going to be together. A black woman can't do nothing for me, but, you know, have sex with me. I want a white woman. That's what she said. He said, again, if you guys believe he said that and it came, you know, because it came out of Eartha's mouth, then that's on you. I personally believe it's up in the air. And not just black women, it's black men, black people, because when you look at the comment section, there's a lot of black men calling Eartha Kitt a strong black sister, a strong black woman. And she didn't look at herself as a black woman, jackasses. But then you want to come to people channels and tell them they're wrong. She had more of a connection with the homosexuals than Black America. She said, hey, hey, they know what it's like to be rejected. She was not for the Black Panthers. So if you guys are pro-blacks and she wasn't for the Black Panthers, wouldn't that make her your enemy? I told you I was going to set the record straight. Diana Ross hid her daughter from the public, hid her daughter Rhonda from the public and from her father until she was 13. Yeah, she had some pictures, very little, but that doesn't take away the fact what she did to that girl's identity at a young age. And instead of you guys saying, you know what, that is right. Hey, man, there was no reason to treat Berry Gordy like that. There was no reason to treat Berry Gordy like that. And then when you do videos like this, everyone becomes an expert all of a sudden. Oh, no, no, this wasn't right. And Eartha Kitt grew up in the Jim Crow era, okay? When she was in New York, there were Jim Crow laws down south. I have to make that clear because you'll twist my words like pretzels. And this is a woman who says she was American, but America looked at her as she was black and treated her like she was black. When she went into the White House with that type of energy, they was like, who is this black bitch? The CIA and the FBI was on her ass like white on rice. And see, I can give her a pass even though she slept around with all type of men, okay? Eartha Kitt had a lot of miles on her by white men, Hispanic men, and black men. She slept around. This is the reason why they compare her to Rihanna. Hey, Rihanna, play Eartha Kitt. And I do believe if they make a movie about Eartha Kitt, Rihanna should get the role. I do believe. But I can give Eartha more of a pass, even though she did and behaved the way she behaved, but she did do for black people. But she didn't want you to have your own country, your own money, your own bank. She wanted you to do it with white people, which ultimately is why black Americans are in the position black Americans are in today, right? Integration. And for you guys to call her a pro-black, put her in Black History Month and salute her. Wow. Y'all got a lot of nerve, man. I told you I was going to get you. And what makes this story even more ironic or crazy, she passed on Christmas Day in 2008. And she had that big Christmas song she did in the 50s. I think it was Santa Baby. Died on Christmas Day. I'm out. Peace.